Hello friends and welcome back to the channel. Today I have another Marvel Contest of Champions video on one of my favorite champions in the game, Miss Guillotine 2099. So even if you don't have this champion, you're probably aware that she has the highest damage output potential in the game right now. She's got double immunity, she's got lifesteal, and she's a solid counter to many different problem fights like Havoc or Mr. Sinister, as well as problem nodes like Spiked Armor or Terminal Velocity. And I think that with all this great damage and utility, especially within the tech class, it's easy to overlook that she is actually a pretty good power control champion as well, and in a variety of situations. Now, I'm not going to sit here and try and convince you that she is as good as the best power control champs in the game, like Magic or OG Vision. In fact, her effectiveness is much more comparable to a champion like Psylocke. But unlike Psylocke, Guillotine has far more utility, damage, and sustainability. And when you combine her power control with everything else in her kit, Guillotine can end up saving you a spot on your team that might otherwise needed to have been given to a dedicated power control champion. So before we get started, I need to point out that as with her other abilities, Guillotine's power control relies on her being above 100 hits on her combo, which means that you need a single fight in which you can capture a soul to ramp her up. This may limit her on some paths, but in most cases you can work around it just fine. Similarly, if you fail to capture a soul in any fight with your special 3 to prep for the next fight, you're probably screwed. And as is always the case when you play Guillotine, if you at any point lose your combo, you're also probably screwed. And then the last thing I want to point out here is that the power burn affects a percentage of their current power, not their total power. So this means that you can't just use double medium combos and keep an opponent at 0 power. Alright, let's get into some gameplay. Okay, the first fight I want to show today is a Venom the Duck from Variant 3, Chapter 2.1. This particular fight has the Chaos node and the Energize 2 node, which increases power rate by 200%. So you can see at the beginning there, 10 hits in and he would have been at a special 3, but since I ended my combo with a medium attack and burned 5% of his maximum power, he was prevented from reaching his special 3 and was only able to launch his special 2 instead. So, the basic idea here is that as long as you end your combos with a medium attack, they will never get to their special 3. And from there, they can either choose to throw their special 2 like he is now, or you can dash back and wait for him to dash into you with a medium attack, parry, and then go in with another 5-hit combo. So this really saves you from like a super defensive AI where they're not willing to throw their special attacks, and you're keeping, you keep on dashing back, trying to bait them, and you're getting back into the corner, and then you just take a hit and you die. Now at the end of the fight, it gets a little tricky because, again, as I mentioned, you need to steal the soul for the next fight. So in all of these examples, I'm going to be launching my SP3 when they're below 5%. To end the fight. So here we go, 3%, and this will outright kill him. Now I did take a lot of chip damage in this particular fight. I could have recouped some of that with a lifesteal function, chose not to, but you could definitely do that. Okay, the second fight I want to show you is from Act 6.2.1. This is a Deadpool with Aspect of Evolution and also Life Cycle. I'm just going to fast forward to a point in the fight where his power gain has been significantly ramped up. The good thing about this fight is that with Life Cycle, I can basically just extend the fight indefinitely as long as I don't hit him while his shield is down. So again, similar to the last example, this fight, you don't really care how much power you give him, because as long as you end the fight with a medium attack, it doesn't matter how much his power rate increases per bar of power, you can always keep him below his special 3. Now, where things get a little bit tricky because of life cycle in this particular matchup is how you end the fight, because you can't keep him close to a 3rd bar of power, knock him down, and then fire off your special 3, because there's a chance that he will fire his special 3 before you can, because the AI has instantaneous reaction time, and you as a human being do not. So what I'm basically doing here is baiting out one more special 2, and then I'm going to parry heavy to knock his shield off, and then immediately launch my special 3 once the shield is down, and that will end the fight. Now, in normal Aspect of Evolution fights, you wouldn't have to do this, but just an extra wrinkle to an already annoying fight. And down he goes. Alright, my third example is from this month's Uncollected EQ. I'm speeding up the fight here until I can get this Nightcrawler to switch modes. This Nightcrawler has 300% cornered. Now normally when you see a cornered node, your first reaction would be to just bring in somebody who doesn't place damage over time debuffs. Because most champions place damage over time debuffs inconsistently, so the power gain, especially when it's at 300%, can be pretty unpredictable, and you can accidentally push them to a special 3 when you don't mean to. But with Guillotine, even though she does place degens pretty inconsistently, I don't care if and when she does, because I am never going to be in danger of pushing Nightcrawler to a special 3 as long as I finish my combos with a medium attack accordingly. So you can see it doesn't matter if he throws his special, doesn't matter if he backs off and dashes in for medium attack. I can just keep him sitting in the corner here, and he will never get his special 3. And as always, it's pretty difficult, or not difficult, it's pretty tricky to end the fight with a special 3, depending on the amount of energy damage you're doing based on your combo. So it is sometimes a case where you have to just do like medium combos to slowly whittle their health down so that you don't accidentally kill them with your basic attack before you can get your special 3 off. And here we go, we did a medium, light, medium to end that combo, and fired off our special 3, and then Nightcrawler goes down pretty much without a problem. Okay, my fourth example is really probably the most obvious one, and this is All or Nothing. This is a bishop from Act 6.1.4. He has Power Start 1, All or Nothing, and then Close Encounters is the global node. Now, normally, Close Encounters is a pretty irritating node because you're going to just degen yourself to death if you stay too far trying to bait out special attacks. But in this matchup, I can basically just keep Bishop in the corner, keep pounding him with 5-hit combos, and as I've kind of been saying over and over again, as long as I finish my combos with a medium attack, I will power burn him below an SP3, and as a kind of a bonus here, I can keep my proximity to him pretty close and actually end this fight with a full yellow bar of health. So we're going to do a medium to end that combo there, to bring him below 5%, fire off our special 3, and move on to the next node. So a pretty clean fight. You always want to end with a yellow bar if you can, especially against an irritating node like Close Encounters. Okay, my last example is actually from an entire lane with All or Nothing. This is a Cable from Act 6.1.6. And this matchup is a little bit notable because Cable has an ability where when he reaches a bar of power, whether it be 1, 2, or 3, he has a chance to gain a power gain buff. So you might think that this would put Guillotine at a disadvantage, but there is a way that you can play a fight like this and still ensuring that he doesn't get to a special 3. So once he reaches 2 bars of power, he's going to get a power gain buff here, and then I'm essentially going to like slow play the fight until his power gain buff expires. And then from there what I'm going to do is just to continue to do double mediums, and this will burn enough of his current power that he won't reach his special 3 before I can do enough damage to kill him. So we're just going to parry, double medium. He will never throw his special 2, of course, because it's All or Nothing. And you can see I'm giving him maybe just a little bit more power than I'm ending up burning with both my medium hits. So you end up taking a bit of chip damage here, but it's worth it, to not take the KO. Now you can't do the normal push him all the way to 3 bars of power in this matchup, because if he gets the power gain buff after he's hit 3 bars, he's just going to keep hitting 3 bars, and eventually your timing is not going to work, and he's going to hit you with his special 3. So I just wanted to point out here that there are ways to kind of play around fights where there are like little trickles of power gain. So Cable's a good matchup. You could probably do this with Havoc too, or maybe even like Symbiote Supreme, but yeah. So we brought him below 5% health, launched our special 3, and we get out of here with the W. Easy peasy. Now, there were some other matchups that I wanted to test, but in the interest of time chose not to. I'm going to list them out here for you anyway. In general, most nodes or champions that require you to play a certain way in order to avoid taking a special 3 to the face are matchups where Guillotine can be pretty effective. This includes nodes like Extinction Protocol, which is the one where the defender's power rate is increased by 15% for each special attack they use. Now, most champions, when they take this node, the fight quickly becomes unwinnable because you're giving them so much power with just a single hit that you're just hitting them and backing off and waiting to try and bait out a special attack. But with Guillotine, you can keep them below a special 3 no matter what their power rate is. So, also Redoubled Determination, which is a node that increases the defender's power rate per debuff. So Guillotine places those degen debuffs and can counter this as well. Another one is Surging Vengeance. I don't think I've seen this outside of the 6.3.6 Captain America boss, but this is the one where they use their special attacks in ascending order, 1, 2, 3. You essentially turn this fight into an all-or-nothing fight after 2 specials, since you can, again, keep them below a special 3, and they'll never fire it, and then they'll never fire any other specials either. And lastly, Special Bias, which is a node that I've only seen on a path in 6.4.3. This is the opposite of the last one. They will use their special attacks in descending order, so 3, 2, 1, and then right away, this is an all-or-nothing fight when you use Guillotine. So before I wanted to end, I wanted to get a few caveats out of the way, and unsurprisingly, these mostly apply to the Cosmic class, which Guillotine should and does have a disadvantage against. Her first and most glaring weakness when it comes to power control is that if your opponent has any external means of gaining power, she is not going to work, similar to Psylocke. So she can't out-control champions like Hyperion or Vision Arcus. You might have limited success against champions with trickles of power gain like Havoc or Symbiote Supreme, but in general I'd say that those situations require broader methods of power control than Guillotine can offer. The second and more obvious weakness is that she won't work in encounters that involve resistance or immunity to power control effects. So in terms of specific matchups, this would be champions like Venom or Nihilus, and in terms of nodes, this would be like the Vivified node. Lastly, I think Guillotine's power control can be extremely effective in certain situations. She's definitely not the queen of power control. I think it's likely that Magic will probably never relinquish that title. Nevertheless, hopefully I've given you a strong argument that Guillotine 2099 is power control royalty in her own right. That's all I have for you today. If you would be so kind as to hit that like button on your way out, let me know in the comments below if you love Guillotine as much as I do, and if you think her power control could be a useful addition to your roster. Don't forget to subscribe for more content, and as always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again next time.